Welcome back to the AC Pulse, where art meets accountability and truth always gets the mic. In this episode, we're turning the spotlight on someone who doesn't just move with intention, she channels it. From resilience to ritual, from survival to sovereignty, we're joined by someone whose story shatters the silence around what it means to truly reclaim your voice, your body, and your calling. This is not a conversation. This is a consecration. Our guest today is the inimitable Sakiynah, a culture worker, healer, and creative rooted in Black liberation and embodied leadership, with roots in spiritual practice, community organizing, and the sacred power of storytelling. She doesn't just show up, she sanctifies space. Sakiynah walks with a voice that has been earned. And in this episode, she invites us into her process, her practice, and her presence.
Hi, my name is Sakiynah Wise. I have been in Colorado for many, many years. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, but here's home. I do non-representational art, mixed media art. I do design-based art. My favorite is non-representational art.
Wow, I love that. Especially in a time when so much of the art world is calling for visibility and representation. It's really powerful to hear that you feel drawn to non-representational art. There's something radical about that, about choosing form, texture, energy over figure or identity. I'm curious, do you see that as a way of like leveling the playing field, like removing the labels, the isolation, the expectations, and just letting people feel? Obviously, a huge fan. But tell me, why is it your favorite?
Just because I can just let things flow and I can put meaning to it without something having to look concrete. I come from, like a lot of people, I come from a history of immense trauma, and art was my way out. So from like the age of 6, I just started drawing, and I put all my feelings in there because where I was born in a cult. And where I was at, it's like you had to be very careful in the way you moved. So it's like you don't have anybody to talk to. So all I had was these little pieces of paper that I would find, and I just started drawing. My sister showed me how to draw girls in bikinis, which was not something we were allowed to do, like showing body parts and different things like that. So it was kind of like a rebellion in a way. So I started like just drawing a bunch of girls in bikinis, and which I didn't know was bikinis. I just was like, oh, she showed me how to draw them, and their legs are showing and their boobs are showing, So I just was drawing a bunch of that, and then that turned into my first language is Arabic, and so I was learning how to read and write in Arabic. And so I started, scribbling, pretending I knew how to write. And so then that turned into more like non-representational art, because I'm putting my thoughts into these forms on paper that doesn't really mean anything to somebody else, but it means everything to me,
This episode of the AC Pulse is brought to you by Avant-Garde, a creative ecosystem for artists, by artists. We don't just talk about support, we build it. From housing to healing, funding to fellowship, Avant-Garde is rewriting what artist equity looks like. Join the movement at avantgarde.org and follow us at avantgarde.org. And now, back to our show. I always love to ask artists this because there's usually a moment, even for me, even if it's a quiet one, when something shifts. When did you realize your art had something to say? Like it wasn't just for you anymore, it was speaking through you or even to something bigger. What was that snapshot moment for you?
When I was 14, 13, but 14, I joined Art Street. I had my first job when I was 11, and then I found through flyers and friends in the neighborhood a Art Street flyer, and I was in this program called the Yo program, and they got me into it. And through that, there was a lot of deep diving into poetry and to meaning behind the art, even more so, and kind of helped me kind of get the thoughts that I was already doing, like into a classification, if that makes sense. And so I think it was when I was learning graffiti art and learning the history behind graffiti art. And I was able to kind of pull different elements of what I was feeling. And we was learning printmaking as well at that time. And yeah, I think that was probably when I was 14, and adding poetry, spoken word to it, rather than just I still keep everything inside mostly, but having to express myself outwardly, I think. I don't know. And then hearing other people, other artists express their stuff and not feeling alone, I'm like, oh, this is a healing thing for them as well. So,
Do you feel like your understanding of yourself has changed because of your work? Like, has the act of creating over time revealed parts of you that maybe you hadn't fully seen or maybe understood before?
I think, let me think about this a little bit. Has the understanding of myself changed with creating my art? Yeah, I think my biggest thing is I understand I'm going back to categorizations, and people want to box you into different things, which I understand why people do that, because they want to, dive deeper into it, study it, and things like that. So that is important to have classifications and all these things. But I think me growing as an artist, pushing the limits against things, has, I think it's really helped me in a way where I'm not boxing other parts of myself, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to be boxed in as an artist. But then I'm realizing, well, you don't want to deal with this medium because you want control using this medium, like acrylics versus oils versus watercolor. And so I think it was 2 years ago now, I started delving into more watercolors, which I didn't want to do, because I'm like, it's water and it just has to flow. I have this deep appreciation for water, and also a healthy amount of fear of it. So I'm like, oh, water gets to do what it wants to do, but it's also like, well, let's see where it kind of goes. I can still use it as a form of release, and also like acceptance too.
Trying to fit in, craving something more, boxed in, introducing the box, the perfectly shaped container society designed just for you. Curated expectations, pre-packaged dreams, gendered, racialized, sanitized. The box, trademark, comes in 3 convenient sizes Too much? Not enough? And who the fuck do you think you are? But wait, there's more. Step inside now and receive a free identity crisis and lifetime subscription to imposter syndrome. Or you could set that shit on fire, dance in its ashes, and build something that actually fits the box. Trademark. Some restrictions apply. Warning, break out of the box may result in authenticity, liberation, and the occasional side eye from your auntie. Let's get back to the show.
Because, when you're coming from a background of strict things and having to make sure you're operating in a way so that you're not being targeted, right? In abuse and things like that, it's like you want to control everything. You don't realize you're doing that, but you are. You're like, if I do this and if I do this, and this won't happen, But it's like you have to let go and just let things, ride out. And I always realize things always just work out. Not that bad things should happen, but
absolutely. When we allow things to evolve organically without force, without control, and without boxing them in, something really powerful happens. Authenticity rises, it settles, it roots, because nothing, truly nothing, creates with more grace and precision than Mother Nature.
I did for 2020. I was the graphic artist for Metropolitan State University's MLK Peace Breakfast. So, and my theme was water, and I called it the act of fluidity. And so it was just like I'm talking about the rights of farmers, and especially Indigenous farmers, and and how these people are trying to control water. You're trying to control everything that's free, that's natural. That's the type of, going into activism and things like that. It's like, where do you fit and what do you do with what you're given? And art is what I'm given. It's what I do. And people farm. That's what they do. They feed.
Woo! Wasn't that such a good episode? That was Sakiynah Wise. And if your spirit is still buzzing, good. Let it. Because this was just part 1. We'll be back next Thursday with the continuation of this very conversation, where we go even deeper into liberation, legacy, and the lessons that art won't let us ignore. And as always, catch our commentary episodes dropping this weekend. Perfect for your morning coffee sessions, your solo drives, or anytime you need a reminder that your voice, your vision, and your value are non-negotiable. Subscribe, share, and join the movement at patreon.com/the AC Pulse. Until next time, stay disruptive, stay divine, and never apologize for outgrowing the box they tried to keep you in.